This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 713 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning into Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is part 3 of our special helmet series brought to you by Charles Owen and Riders for Helmets. Once again, founder of the Horse Radio Network, Glenn the Geek, is joined by Roy Burrick of Charles Owen, this time to demystify helmet ratings. Take it away, Glenn.
Glenn the Geek here, founder of the Horse Radio Network. We are excited to bring you a special holiday helmet mini-series, giving the gift of safety, purchasing a helmet for your loved ones at Christmas. In cooperation with Charles Owen and Riders for Helmets, we have created this 6-part mini-series to highlight some amazing real-life stories and some tips on buying helmets as gifts. Today we have Roy from Charles Owens back with us to talk about what all those symbols and certifications mean in your helmets. So, Roy, there are a lot, as we said, there are a lot of symbols and numbers and things. There's a lot of standards and certifications. What do I need to know as a person going to buy a helmet? What do I need to look for inside the helmet to make sure I'm getting one that's safe for my head for riding my horse or driving my horse?
Well, a lot of people just want to look, just tell me the symbol I need to have inside the helmet, because there's got to be one standard that's best, that is the super standard.
Right.
Now, the thing about standards is standards represent accidents. And if you go for the standard that is the toughest, then that's great if you have that tough accident. But if you fall onto a sand surface, one of these riding arenas, then that may not actually give you the best protection for that type of accident. So the best thing to do is to look for as many standards as you can do, because each standard tests for a different set of accidents.
Okay.
And that's going to give you the biggest range of protection, rather than looking for the one with the ultimate. And I mean, we've just produced one for those people that are concerned about that horrible accident, the rotational fall. And we've just produced one with 4 safety standards in. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's the safest helmet, because obviously the safest helmet is the one that fits your head. But if you're not going to have that accident and you're not concerned, you don't see yourself particularly at risk from those extreme accidents, you don't need to have that level of safety. You want the standard that's going to give you the right protection. Now, of course, alongside standards is the guarantees that you're going to get from having other marks from independent testing bodies, things like the SCI mark and the CE mark. And there's a funny heart-shaped symbol, which is the British Safety Institute. They do independent testing on the products, and it's those marks that really give you that sense of security, that you're not just relying on the manufacturer saying this is a great product, but these certification marks are saying somebody else is standing up and willing to put their logo on this product to say, we would recommend you buying this helmet.
Well, the one symbol that I see the most here in the United States, and that I think everybody's familiar with because it says it on your horse show applications and things, is SCI. It has to have the SCI stamp on the inside. Tell us about that.
Well, that's correct. I mean, the SCI is the minimum requirement by the USEF and various horse show organizations and various barns, because they want you to have a minimum level of safety. But of course, if you're buying the gift of safety for somebody else, somebody who you really care for, are you really just going to be looking for the minimum? And this is where you can start to look at multiple standards and multiple certifications, because with that extra level of scrutiny and each person looking for something slightly different. The more safety marks, the more safety certifications you can have on a product. You're not buying somebody just the minimum level of safety. You're buying somebody the best safety you can have. And it's quite common, people kind of scrimp and save on trying to feed their horse. And they'll often go along and say, oh, well, I'll just get something that's going to, that looks like it's going to save my head, and I'll just put that on. But then when you're giving a gift, this is an opportunity where you can say, do you know what? I actually care about you so much that I think you want something above the basic. And that's where you're looking for this extra certification.
And Charles Owen helmets have that.
Charles Owen have a whole range. We have some introductory helmets which have 2 safety standards on. The majority of them are 3 safety standards, and we have just launched for the person that's really scared of that rotational fall, a 4 safety standard with 4 certifications.
Well, Roy, when I used to have our own store and we used to be fitting helmets for people, one of the questions we used to get all the time was, if I buy the more expensive helmet, is that the safer helmet?
Well, not necessarily, because the cost of producing a helmet sometimes is in the design and style, maybe the fabrics that are used, and maybe you're just wanting a helmet with a very complex, very lightweight style, and that all adds to the cost. And of course, there are some people out there that feel that people who want to buy the best will expect that by paying a high price, they will get the best. But that isn't necessarily always the case. When we're looking for a helmet, and really we do some introductory helmets that have a huge amount of safety built in, because we do take care of the new riders that come into our community that perhaps don't want to spend a huge amount of money, and by removing pieces of leather and going down to nylon straps, you can really pare back the cost of manufacture of a helmet without necessarily affecting the cost. So standards are a great way to look at it, and you'll be surprised that sometimes the highest price helmet isn't necessarily the one with the most safety standards.
Well, this has been very interesting. We're continuing this series in the next part where we talk about how a safe functional helmet can also look stylish. You and I have attended a few helmet symposiums together, and one of the things for helmet adoption that we discussed to increase helmet adoption was that they have to be stylish. So that's what we're going to talk about the next time.
I look forward to it.
Thank you to Riders for Helmets for everything they do for helmet awareness and safety. You can visit them at riders4helmets.com. And thank you to Charles Owen. You can visit them at charlesowen.co.uk.
Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.